I show these little niggas they wildin'. I put my chains and rings and things, yellow gold like it's pilot. Never sneeze a damn hoe, bitch. Had to see the swamp coach. In Tennessee, the hoes know me. Had to see South Coast shit and try to throw dirt on my name. They hate the player in the game. You say you got drip, I got stain. Ah, bro, it ain't the same. I never needed no lighter. Ain't met me no brighter. Through the pain, I got violent. Nah, nigga, you some I'ma always be on mission. A silly hoe never could get me. These niggas be paying for pussy. But with my vocab, I can get her. I might just bend a pretender. Niggas know that I ain't flexing. I cut on all of the lights. That's just by my damn necklace. Remember nigga fighting pressure. So 6 grind keep me winning. Remember them days at my mama hot ass summer 6 months new scenery. A young nigga changing ways. A young nigga changing game. When I get all of this guala up, it'll never be the same. Move, moves, move, moves, move, moves, moves, moves. SC the South Coast shit. SC the South Coast shit. SC the South Coast shit. SC South Coast shit. I had to turn on my ethics. I show these little niggas they wildin'. I put my chains and rings and things, yellow gold like it's pilot. Never sneeze a damn hoe, bitch. Had to see the swamp coach. Tennessee, the hoes know me. Had to see South Coast shit. They try to throw dirt on my name. They hate the player in the game. You say you got drip, I got stain. Ah, but it ain't the same. I never needed no lighter. Ain't make me no brighter. Through the pain, I got violent. Nah, nigga, push props. I'ma keep going and going and into a whole nother level. That shit every day. Niggas be hating and living no passion. Boy, get that bomb shit, boy, straight out the way. Niggas be cracker trying to build in the case. Stay out the way, separate from the fake. Sipping on dry wine, got me on bank. Thank the Lord every single day. Moving on up like George Jeff. Keep a tent like fuck the rebel. Where y'all was when I needed help. Slept in the airport by myself. 16, just chasing dreams. $100 probably in my sock. Setting bushes waiting for the shuttle. Shut the bus to get my ass out. Rooms, 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 moves, rooms, moves. Making moves, but I never lose. But I keep it two, call it 22. Do what I do, cause I never lose. I flip it. Niggas acting damn ridiculous. So I keep on my feet. I had to turn on my ethics. I show these little niggas they wildin'. I put my chains and rings and things, yellow gold like it's pilot. Never sneeze a damn hoe, bitch. Had to see the swamp coach. In Tennessee, the hoes know me. Had to see South Coast shit. They try to throw dirt on my name. They hate the player in the game. You say you got drip, I got stain. Ah, but it ain't the same. I never needed no lighter. Ain't make me no brighter. Through the pain, I got violent. Nah, nigga, push props.
If your business kept employees on payroll throughout the pandemic, Innovation Refunds can see if it may qualify for a payroll tax refund.
Good night. Yeah, beats. You already know who it is. They say the man with the 45, he beat with the man with the rifle, huh? It ain't about what sword you got, it's about the man with the sword, you dumb fuck. Get your shit together. Hey, hey, war. Killer be kid, boy, I'm a menace. I call it down, but it's still in me. Tool at your head, boy, like a dentist. These boys rainbow, yeah, they feel me. How can I show love to my enemy? I know these boys out trying to get me. It's a man down, but it ain't me. War. Killer be kid, boy, life is war. Come around the corner and I'm looking slow. I'm talking my prayer like it up close. I bring the heads off with the sword. Bring that bitch back to the Lord. I bring that bitch back to the Lord. Yeah, I bring that bitch back to the Rags the riches, I got my take up like I'm sick. Yeah, I took the decision, I made my mind up like I'm sleeping. Hey, I'm 15, yeah, I caused a commotion. My teeth looking miss like new potion. She got a demotion, rub on her, I need some lotion. I stroke on her ocean, slow motion. Now I'm exploding. I caused a collision, I'm too high like foreign train mission. Yeah, I'm sipping. I see your motherfucking vision. These boys keep talking that bitch and I pull up like bitches. Like, where the brand and understand that I slap on the top of my enemies. Yeah, I already said that. Halo is head, yeah, but don't take my comments for weakness. Yeah, I get it, I got it. I'm possible, I'm my own pilot. I'll never need no stylist. Roll up on me and you drop it. We can do the straight head like I'm coming. I'm in high. I got that body hot lava. It's lava. My silence a profit. Red out and stocking. Just know I've been under something. I look at you, boy. You ain't nothing. I be like, whoa. Killer be kid, boy. I'm a menace. I call it down, but it's still in me. Tool at your head, boy, like a dentist. These boys rainbow, yeah, they feel me. I cannot show love to my enemies. I know these boys out trying to get me. It's a man down, but it ain't me. Whoa. Killer be kid, boy. Life is war. Come around the corner and I'm like a slow. I'm talking my prayer like it up close. I bring the hands off with the sword. Bring that bitch back to the Lord. I bring that bitch back to the Lord. Yeah, I bring that bitch back to the She asks me what I do. I'm always busy. I say I'm getting my weight up, obesity. She wanna come around and wanna visit. She talking through a pussy on, listen, I'm all black. Counting racks. 223, keep that air on my lap. I'm riding through Cracker Village full of tech. But they don't want no fucking smoke, so I'll relax. I take a nap, bitch. You looking sad. You may not see me, but my voice on every track. Just like a tag, bitch. Your bitch a has been. Where in the world I stepped on her like a Mac. You dumb motherfucker. Damn, man, we did that one.
Fuck it. Yeah. Hey, yo, correct. Not this West the One West.
Damn, dude.
Yo. Give a fuck if you niggas frost, man, we been the coldest. Yeah, I serve your honey and he ain't never folded. And find me up at the top with the crown molded. And I've been trod through the fire and I was found golden. Niggas thought we was lost, but we was bound stolen. We the cream of the crop and you the semicolon. Pause. This a flawless victory. And we gon' run with the law for a couple centuries. This shit is big to you, for me it's elementary. Schoolmaster, all about my history. You a Christian, lower than a centipede. Watered down niggas, I ain't never chased my Hennessy. I keep it trill, but you a liability. Grown man business, call it heavy artillery. I keep it trill, but you a liability. Grown man business, call it heavy artillery. I keep it trill. I keep it trill. I keep it trill.
You already know what it is, man. It's one way and one west. You hear me? Never trust a bitch born on her birthday. I'm a shit talker, I got wordplay. UPK with the shirt say, she never seen a real nigga, this her first take. Shield a David on me, I ain't Jewish though. I don't like Christian spirit, they move me wrong. You ain't in the truth, nigga, prove me wrong. I don't fuck with any type of bitch, all unruly hoes. Yeah, price going up. It ain't tequila in the bottle, don't even pour it up. Life's a gamble, I'm casting lots. Yeah, you ain't in the field, you a mascot. I want a natural bitch, no cash dog. No, she gotta be in order with me, I'm an asshole. My life trill, but this ain't savage life. I'm what every bitch crave, I'm the appetite. Only see me once, left her captivated. Niggas can't keep it real, it's exacerbated. You don't want smoke like a cancer patient. Niggas tell for they get cross-examinated. 556 to decapitate them. If I tell you about my life, it get animated. I might exaggerate, but I don't lie. I ain't into saving whores, nigga. I ain't pop, lie.
Damn, dude.
This bitch was gonna give me problems from the beginning. Hey, what's the one west? People be thinking these scripts the only thing we holding down, but they ain't been with the UPK when we go to ground. Was it another day to tell a story? Know it now. Shamar tighter than you pussy niggas that wanna clown. Keep on playing these fucking games, you'll be terrified. When we take shots like you the range, now you paralyzed. You ain't wanted it with the gang, dog, we verify. We do our thing, it's for the king, so we sterilize. We ain't affiliated with none of y'all, cause they're alive. Bitch, I could call angels to do my bidding the day you die. I forgive my brother 77 times. Either get with it or get gone and sever ties. I could build a mountain out of molehill. Take a man having no skill, teach him how to soul heal. Karak ice, cause your boy got a cold quill. 100 yards from the whole field, but a nigga got no chip. I'm keeping it true. TREALRTRI. I'm a fighter that never fails, you a liar that never fails. The Messiah's alive and where you vaginas that got us, now we retire like golden gals in the body bag. Told the bills you're neurotic, loving your oppressors for your possessors, you're melodic. We only fuck with domestics, you're exotic. We don't frolic with the help of the body, we show them the bill. Give them 100 more lashes for talking none of they breath, bitch.
All jokes aside, you know how niggas be like, I'm missing.
All right, shalom. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona, man, for the Wednesday night law class. Let's give the Lord a hand. Yeah, so all right, I'm Precinct Officer Barakyat. Tonight my lesson will be, child labor, immigrant children, migrant children being used as child labor, children that were supposedly missing, found in slaughterhouses, basically being used as slaves. We're going to get into that, how that relates to you, how that relates to your family, no matter if you were born in Mexico, Guatemala, Phoenix, Arizona, Texas, or anywhere else on the planet, how it relates to you if you're Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indian, and what you can do to free yourself and free your brothers next to you, man, no matter where you are on the planet Earth. We're gonna get right into it. I got a couple articles. I got some precepts. We're gonna start breaking it down. Let me get Leviticus 18 and 21. These migrant brothers, they fled out of their home countries to in what they thought was seeking a better life, finding a better predicament for their children, basically fleeing from hell, fleeing from the gangs that run their towns, fleeing from the corruption in their governments, fleeing from the poverty that they lived in and the oppression that they lived under. But what they don't know is they ran from one thing and ran into another thing, thinking that the oppressor here in America is any better than whoever oppressed them in Guatemala or Colombia, Panama, Uruguay, wherever it may have been. I'm gonna give you the solution to getting out of hell tonight, man. But go ahead, read what you got first, Doc.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, verse 21. And thou shalt and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech.
This is a law from the Lord, man, saying you should not worship any false god. You should not give your children up to any false god either. Shouldn't use them as a sacrifice to go worship some Virgin Mary. You thinking you prayed to the Virgin Mary when you were in Ecuador. What did that get you? Now you flee all the way with your children to America, where they pray to that same white Jesus. But when you get there, they lock you and your children up in a cage, separate you, and then they quote unquote lose your child, man. They lose your child. So what was your solution at all? You prayed to a God that wouldn't help you, sacrificed your child to a God that would only lead your child into a sex trafficking ring or into basically a slave trafficking ring. Trafficking is trafficking. You gave your child up as a sacrifice, man. God made it a law that you would not sacrifice your children, man, nor anything else to these strange gods. And these are strange gods that would say that you could both do and not do what they command, that you could have an alternative lifestyle. Or speaking of alternative lifestyle, let me get up on TikTok. Let me not get too far ahead. I almost forgot. The ISUPK is very popular on TikTok. Y'all need to come follow us, man. Let me get this right. Ooh-wee. I got a good feeling tonight. I think I'm gonna get banned. Let's see here. Excellent. Which one are you holding? New York. Okay, good. Glitch. Yeah, it worked on some. What'd you do? I went to Google. Yeah, Google it'll work sometimes. Okay. Tap in on TikTok, man. Where I'm on my personal page. Barakiad on TikTok. Just today, my rib told me I'm an old man with these devices. I used to be the king of this. I couldn't flip that camera around for nothing. Okay, all right, we're gonna get right back into it. What I leave off on? Right, the book of Leviticus. You should not make your child a sacrifice unto these strange gods, pass through the fire of Molech, man. And that's what you're doing. You think that you can run away from your problems, man. It's like me growing up in Chicago thinking I could go to LA Compton and won't find a death by gunshot unless I change something that's within me. Unless I change something within me and those people around me, man. Death will always seek Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians unless we change what's inside of us, change our lawless nature, man, and come back into our culture written of in the Bible. Lately, the news is lightly covering all these children being used as slave labor that's been migrated to this country, man. And you know, you won't hear a peep about it in this week's news cycle because Donald Trump is being sued, or Donald Trump is being what do you call it? Donald Trump has been indicted. He's got a grand jury against him, or whatever you want to call it. And so you won't hear anything about the thousands of children who work slave labor, 10 plus hours a day, 7 days a week, in a slaughterhouse around dangerous electric equipment, where they could cut themselves damn near in half or kill themselves if misused. But you won't hear about that because this place does not care about the poor. It doesn't care about the sick. It doesn't care about the people who are lowly. It only cares about the rich. It only cares about the affluent, the people in high places. Now, I'm going to show you the poor how to actually fix their neighborhood, how to fix their country, man, because you can't run to another state, another country, and expect the predicament that you were born in to change just because your environment did. This is entirely the predicament you were born in wasn't just constructed in Compton. It wasn't just constructed in Ecuador. It was constructed into the entire planet. It's a social issue. Now you're going to have to change yourself socially. You're going to have to change how you engage into the planet, not change where you are on the planet. Give me that article in the New York Times.
This is an article in the New York Times titled, "As Migrant Children Were Put to Work, U.S. Ignored Warnings."
Read that line right underneath it.
The White House and federal agencies were repeatedly alerted to signs of children at risk. The warnings were ignored and missed.
This is the White House, the President of the United States, knew that these children were being migrated, were being taken illegally and moved into these places for slave labor. Joe Biden, that's who you voted for, right? That's who you want to be president. Joe Biden knows about these migrant children in these slaughterhouses. Joe Biden knows, Donald Trump knows, everybody knows it. They don't care about it, man. When are you going to change something about it? Read that first paragraph.
In the spring of 2021, Linda Brand Miller was working at an arena in San Antonio that had been converted into an emergency shelter for migrant children. Thousands of boys were sleeping in cots as the Biden administration grappled with the record number of minors crossing into the United States without their parents.
And that's what that precept I brought out was before. You thought your child was gonna get into the U.S. because you sent them in without you. You prayed and you believed in the good old mighty United States government. You thought that they were going to save your child. You thought that Joe Biden was God. That's what those migrants did. Those big old waves of immigrant surges, they sent their children over without them, ahead of them, saying, "Here's enough money for just you. Joe Biden says he's going to be very lenient and let you into the country for a better life, when you were very wrong. He was going to let your children into this country so that they could wash the blood of cows and pigs off of the floor for no money at all. That's the only. And before that, they were put in a cage for 3 years. That's what Joe Biden prepared for your children, man. Keep reading.
Mrs. Brand Miller's job was to help vet sponsors, and she had been trained to look for possible trafficking. In her first week, 2 cases jumped out. One man told her he was sponsoring 3 boys to employ them at his construction company. Another, who lived in Florida, was trying to sponsor 2 children who would have to work off the cost of being them north, or bringing them north. Like
basically saying, 2 men came up and said they saw that they could get free labor, cheap labor. So they went down and said, I'm a sponsor. I will sponsor these children to be employed. One said, I'll let them work in my company. The other said, I'll let them work for me, and the work will be just to pay for the gas money I had to pick them up. Go ahead, keep reading that.
She immediately contracted supervisors working with the Department of Health and Human Services, the federal agency responsible for these children. This is urgent, she wrote in an email reviewed by the New York Times. But within days, she noticed that one of the children was set to be released to the man in Florida. She wrote another email, this time asking for the supervisor's immediate attention.
This woman said, hold up, these are red flags. They're just giving these babies away. These people with no credentials and no real basis to take these children on. Child labor laws prevent you from working below the age of 16, especially or below the age of 18 in construction. And the other guy, he was just giving an indiscriminate reason. Like, these children, I just need them I'll let them come work for me, and they'll just pay off the ride. They'll pay off the gas. And that sounds just like a trafficker. That sounds just like a child trafficker who's going to use these children for God knows what. And this woman who tried to save these children wrote to wrote to the administrators, wrote to the higher ups, saying, hey, block this, stop this. And they were letting these children go like hotcakes, like goddamn hotcakes. They're passing out Black and Hispanic children, man. Go ahead, keep reading.
But within days, she noticed that one of the children was set to be released to the man in Florida. She wrote another email. It's like I already read that. Immediate attention, and adding that the government had already sent a 14-year-old boy to the same sponsor.
So this same sketchy sponsor, the government had already authorized this. They'd already authorized a 14-year-old boy to go away with them. You know what I'm saying? This is the kind of place that you sent your children into, man. Instead of building up your homeland, instead of building up the ghetto, instead of fixing the hood, man, you thought you could run away. You thought you could run into another place and life would be better, but it's still bad. It's just as bad, man. You thought that it'd be better than the gangs that ran that place you grew up in. You thought that this place you'd send your children off to would be safer, but it's not. It's not at all safer. It's as terrible as you think your hood is. It's as terrible as you think your barrio is. And until you fix your barrio and until you fix your neighborhood, there will be no place safe for a Black or Hispanic. You can't get out of hell by running. You only get out of hell by working. You got to work for it. You got to build up the people next to you. You got to fix yourself, man. You got to you got to put out the lawlessness within your community, man. You won't suffer sin among you, as the Bible says. You see somebody doing something wrong against God, a God you say you love, against the God you say you worship, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do that before anything gets better, because it's not better here. I'll tell you that. You send your child to America, America's going to send your child back in a dress. If it's a boy, if it's a girl, you're going to send them back in a zoot suit or something crazy with all sorts of hormones pumped in them. Now, if that's what you would prefer, you know, Lord be with you, but that won't save your children. That won't save your children at all. And to the blacks and Hispanics who think they don't have it as bad off because they weren't exactly in the hood, because their parents weren't all as bad off as you think it is. Well, your children are going to be like, I'll tell you what you won't get away from. Your children will be like Zaya Wade. Your children will be destroyed still, because you will not put out the evil within your neighborhood. You take on whatever it takes just to stay out of the ghetto. That's why brothers and sisters are taking on these spirits. Will Smith suffers Jada. Give me another example.
Magic Johnson's son.
Magic Johnson's son. Good night. Magic Johnson. I think Magic Johnson might have been alternatively. I might have had an alternative lifestyle going on. But that's that, man. And because he's so afraid of being poor, or he doesn't want to be OJ Simpson, because OJ Simpson ain't black, he's OJ. He's gonna do whatever it takes. He's gonna shuck and jive as much as it takes, so he doesn't have to experience being black again, because that was too traumatic. It was too traumatic, and he was too weak. Right. Well, the Lord would have you be stronger than that, man. You're gonna have to be stronger. Read some more of that for me.
Okay. Miss Brand Miller. Miss Brand Miller also emailed the shelter's manager a few days later. Her building access was revoked during her lunch break.
They kicked her out of the building when she went to lunch. She went to lunch, then she came back with the badge. The badge wouldn't let her back in. Hey, you making too much noise. You trying to save all these brown children. What's your problem, Brand Miller? Why are you trying to save these? We know we letting them go like hotcakes. You get the hell out of here. That's what they did to Brand Miller, man. That's what they do to the good people. That's what they do to the good people. You want to survive here? How much evil do you think you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to put up with? How many of your people you're gonna have to put in a cage? If you want a good job, the only good jobs in America, if you're black or Hispanic, are ones where you abuse other blacks and Hispanics. You're a police officer now. You're stomping out another black man. You're a border patrol agent now. You're whipping and locking up other blacks, other Hispanics, quote unquote Hispanics, man. You're instead of seeking gain and all sorts of worldly gain like that, you ought to build up the desolate place. You ought to build up the ghetto, man. Build up the hood like it used to be. Build another Black Wall Street and protect it this time. Set up some law and order so no man can come in and burn it down again.
Right.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. She said she was never told why she had been fired. Over the past 2 years, more than 250,000 migrants, 250,000 migrant children have come along to the United States. Thousands of children have ended up in the punishing jobs across the country.
Punishing jobs, not rewarding. Not a job with a 401k. These are children too, man. Children. You know, they're putting little boys and little girls, mostly little boys, in these jobs, in these laborers positions. God knows what they're doing with the little girls. So many of these children go missing because you would rather pray to America to save your child instead of saving your child your damn self.
Right.
Working to save your child yourself, man. Where we at with this? Yeah, TikTok. All right. Working overnight. Read the rest of that.
Come on, sir.
What punishing jobs across the country?
Come on. Thousands of children have ended up in punishing jobs across the country, working overnight in slaughterhouses, replacing roofs, operating mechanical machinery in factories, all in the violent violation of children labor laws. A recent Times investigation showed after the article's publication in February, the White House announced publicity policy changes and a crackdown on companies that hire children.
You want to know why these people are getting away? Nobody's getting arrested for this either. Reporters are in people's faces, in companies' faces with microphones. Like, yeah, you're gonna go to work tonight, little boy. Like, yeah, I guess I gotta go to work. They go film the little boy in a slaughterhouse on a 12-hour shift. He gotta wake up. He get off at 6. He go to school at 6. Yeah. Teachers are like, man, this kid always falling asleep in my class. Yeah, it's because he just got off a 12-hour shift. This place is wicked beyond belief, man. It's wicked and evil to the core to abuse God's chosen people this way, man. Drop that article. Give me a Ezekiel 16 and 20.
Come. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 20. Moreover, thou hast taken thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou hast born up to me. Thou hast born up unto me. Good night.
You got it.
And these has thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured.
The Lord said you brought up your children to be sacrificed and devoured. That's exactly what this beast of a country has done. It's devoured your children, man. Got them working 12-hour shifts against all child labor laws, against all ethical laws, against all morality to get $1. To get $1, you're gonna make a 12-year-old work a 12-hour shift, pressure washing the floor full of cow's blood with no gloves on. Keep reading.
Come. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter?
Let me follow along with you. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter? Where are you at?
At the end of verse 20.
Keep reading.
Verse 21. Bet thou hast slain my children and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them.
You've caused the Lord's children to pass through the fire. It was your choice. You would rather them. You thought that this God was gonna save your children. You thought a good old America. You know, the same America that bought cocaine and gave it to black people and then shipped guns in by the crate load to your country so that they could kill 2 black stones with one, or kill 2 black birds with one stone. That America. You think that America was going to then only 10, 20 years later save your children? 40 years later save your children? They want to burn Panama to the ground, and they want to burn Harlem to the ground until both of them are white. You know what I'm saying? You're sending your children over here. You're sending your children over here and praying for the oppressor to have mercy on them. Well, this is what their mercy looks like. This is what their kindness looks like. Putting your child in a slaughterhouse, making them redo somebody's roof 20 feet in the air, making them work construction, which is, if I see a goddamn little baby on a construction site, boy, good night, boy. I'm going to call OSHA so fast. I don't know what I'd do, really, honestly. It'd be a very holy situation going on. But that's the kindness I have. The kindness this country has for blacks and Hispanics is putting your children in the field, making them work inordinate hours in the sun, in disgusting work conditions with no hygienic. Go ahead,
Man, if I could, like, to help these brothers out that's looking at seeing this type of stuff. Like, I grew up in Texas, right? I started working at 13 in construction, getting paid $5.25. Like, it's not better at all over there. Like, good night. There's a such thing as being a minority getting paid the minimum amount of wages. And sometimes, right, the boss won't even pay you. You're like, where's my check?
Right. He just made you a slave that
Right.
week.
And
Right.
you being a young cat, you like, damn, well, let me keep working because this is where the money at.
Ain't no money here, my boy. That boy, I tell you this, in that mindset that brothers have when they come over here, they'll work menial jobs, $8 an hour, $5 an hour, no dollars an hour, because they have hope. They have hope that what they're doing here in America is going to get them somewhere. It's going to get them. Eventually, this work will get them out of the ghetto. That's what they hope. Eventually, this work will get them out of the barrio. Eventually, this work will get their grandma, their family, their loved ones out of poverty, out of their dire situation. When instead of putting all your hope and belief in something like that, that's unreal. That's not going to happen. You should sooner put your hope and your work in your hands in the building up the barrio, and the building up the ghetto, and the building up Ecuador and Brazil and Argentina, and the building up Panama and give me one. Honduras, El Salvador, Puerto Rico. You should put your hope into that. You put your hands to that. It's Ecuador. Instead of standing outside of an HEB, or not HEB, standing outside of a Home Depot, trying to hustle, standing outside of an AutoZone, trying to find somebody who you could fix their car for damn near no money, for $20. You know what I'm saying? You could do that in the hood. Not hustlers hard to, you trying to work hard to get out of the hood. I would rather stay in the hood and increase the wealth there. That's why your oppressor wants to buy the hood, because the hood cheap and it's easy to flip. You should flip it instead. You should grow it instead, man. You should be with your own and fix your own instead. Let me you got something else? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I could, like, man, the heaviest part of what you're saying, right? And to lift up the skirt of these oppressors, right?
Right.
These devils, they'll make a grocery store, right? Out here it's called Fry's, but you know what we have is called HEB. HEB consumes multi-millions a week, and they don't give nothing back to the community. Just restocking themselves and have us keep coming by, being their only consumers.
Damn right.
It's a sad business.
Nah, that's a fact. They'll put a HEB in the hood. We put all our money together. We can open up our own HEB, man. HEB taking all your money and sending it back to God knows whose mega millionaire mansion. Right. We spend the money with our own. Spend the money at the local, Mexican meat market or wherever it's at. And that brother who owns that meat market be true to his neighborhood and don't try to think heaven is outside of his ghetto. And that brother instead invest in his people, invest in that neighborhood, give his people a chance to get out of poverty too. Then the ghetto ain't the ghetto anymore. Then the ghetto is the suburbs now. You know what I'm saying? We're building up the place. We're making it look nice, and we're not gonna just let anybody move in here. You know what I'm saying? Then you can have pride in where you come from, because it's not just a place anymore, it's a home. It's somewhere you're proud, it's somewhere that you put work into and you care about because of the work you put into it. And the people that live there, who grew up there with you, who are your family, man. Keep reading to the end of 22.
Come on, sir. Verse 22. And in all thine abominations and thy whoredoms, thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, when thou wast naked and bare, and wast polluted in thy blood.
Keep going.
Verse 23.
Oh no, that's it. It's a lot. Did you read? You read all of 21? That was 22. Read 22 again.
Come. Verse 22. And in all thine abominations and thy whoredoms, thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, when thou was naked and bare, and was polluted in thy blood.
The Lord is saying you haven't remembered the days of your youth, man, when you didn't have it. When the only thing you had was the Lord. You don't really know how bad it gets out here, man. It gets worse. You think it's bad now. There will be a time when you really realize, you should know it now, when you realize that no one can save you but God. And not that fake pale Caucasian Jesus Christ, alternative lifestyle Jesus Christ, the real black nigger God, the one written of in the Bible, man. The black Jesus Christ and Yahweh in heaven, man. That's the only. Soon you'll realize that that's the only person who can save you. But not yet. Not yet. I guess you'll have to see your children disappear, and you'll have to cry and pray that they're safe, pray that they're alive and well. I would not have it that way. I'm trying to learn my lesson before the hard way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to teach my brothers to do it the same way as well. Drop that. Let me get this. I'm gonna get this video. This is the whistleblower. I'm about to play this. I guess she testified about the migrant situation. This is about 4 hours old, something like that, from the live of this video. This is read that title.
Just next article.
Kind of.
Fox News. Whistleblower tells Congress that government is delivering migrant children to human traffickers.
All right, man. We're gonna get this woman testifying about what she saw firsthand. This is not the woman in the New York Times article. That was a separate woman who had a separate account. And this is this woman's firsthand account on the situation. I think her name is Tara Rhodes.
This thing, it's making you get an ice bath again.
What do you mean? These straps are mind-blowing. They collect hundreds of data points like HRV and REM sleep, so you know all you need for recovery. And you are? Huh?
Boy, I hate these ads. You know Fox News need to do it, though. They lost a lot of money. These boys down bad. You already know.
Ranking Member Japal, and distinguished members of the committee. It is an honor to be here. I thank you for the invitation to share my testimony. My goal is to inspire action to safeguard the lives of migrant children, including the staggering 85,000 that are missing.
85,000 migrant children missing.
Overnight shifts at slaughterhouses, factories, restaurants to pay their debts to smugglers and traffickers. Today, children.
They gotta pay their smugglers and quote unquote pay. What does this sound like? I'm the one who brought you over here. You know you gotta pay me back for all of that. You know, I didn't bring you to Atlantic City. I didn't bring you to St. Louis for nothing. You gotta pay me for that. It sounds like a pimp to a prostitute. And this woman is talking about what that's what these smugglers and child traffickers tell these children, man. That's what they tell these children. Let me continue.
Abused, neglected, and trafficked, and we don't know if they're going to get the help they need. For nearly a decade, unaccompanied children have been suffering in the shadows, and I have to confess I knew nothing about their suffering until 2021, when I volunteered to help the Biden administration with the crisis at the southern border. As part of Operation Artemis, I was deployed to the Pomona Fairplex Emergency Intake Site in California to help HHS, Office of Refugee Resettlement, reunite children with sponsors in the United States. I thought I was going to help place children in loving homes. Instead, I discovered that children are being trafficked through a sophisticated network that begins with recruiting in home country, smuggling to the U.S. border, and ends when ORR delivers a child to a sponsor. Some sponsors are criminals and traffickers and members of transnational criminal organizations. Some sponsors
See, this brother Tamaki, he said
an asset
they should have just gave these children a command General Yohana. That's a fact. But they wouldn't do that because then those children would be loved and they'd be taken well care for. Nah, they couldn't do that. You know, instead they're going to have to give them to a trafficker because that's what they'll do. This woman, she just said how she thought that she was gonna be in charge of ushering them into loving homes. Incorrect. She's in charge of getting them into the hands of traffickers. Let me get the rest of this testimony.
This is why we are witnessing an explosion of labor trafficking. Now, whether it's intentional or not, it could be argued that the United States government has become the middleman in a large-scale, multi-billion-dollar child trafficking operation that is run by bad actors seeking to profit off of the lives of children. As for me, my interest is the safety of the children. I do not view this as a political issue. I view this as a humanitarian issue. I assure you, my motives are the highest and best. I want the children protected. So I want to tell you some of what I witnessed personally at the Pomona Fairplex. I saw vulnerable indigenous children from Guatemala.
She said
Mayan dialects and cannot speak Spanish. That means they cannot ask for.
Jesus Christ. Hold up. Now, before I unpack that, she just said that give me a like if you could hear the video on TikTok. Or not a like, give me like a thumbs up or something in the chat. This woman just said that whether it's purposeful or not, the American government cannot argue that they are the middleman in a multi-million-dollar plot to traffic children into the U.S. And there are situations, she just started to go into this, where there are children who can't speak Spanish. They speak ancient Mayan dialect. And they can't even ask, from the Yucatan, they can't even ask they can't even ask the person sitting next to them for help, or nobody can communicate with them effectively because it's so rare to speak to them. This is what she's seen.
For help in English, they cannot ask for help in Spanish. They become captives of their sponsors.
They become captives of their sponsors.
As they've cried.
This is still slavery, man. I don't want to hear that slavery is done away with in America. This is slavery.
I saw apartment buildings where 20, 30, and 40 unaccompanied minors have been released. I saw sponsors trying to simultaneously sponsor children from multiple ORR sites at one time.
They try to. So the thing about being a sponsor is you can't sponsor too many children at once, because that's a flag for trafficking. That's a flag for child trafficking. She saw multiple, one person, one organization, or one person coming in multiple times saying, we need children. We would like to sponsor, And it's not so these children can have a nice home. It's so that these children can get put to work. man. Maids, servants, and slaves. This shit is evil. It's wicked as hell. And if nobody care about the children, man, I know the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge cares. We give a damn about these children. We love them. We got to teach the parents first so that we can protect these children. Let me finish this out, man.
Numerous cases of children in debt bondage, and the child knew
In
they had to stay
bondage.
with the sponsor until the debt was paid. Realizing that we were not offering the children the American dream, but instead putting them in modern day slavery with wicked overlords.
Modern day slavery with wicked overlords. You would think this is a goddamn Onion article. You would think this is a skit off of South Park. No, this is real. This is what's happening right next to you when you're trying to march for an abortion pill. You're marching for what are these dumb people are marching for? Lock up Donald Trump. LGBT rights. That's what you're marching for. What about these children, man? 85,000 missing. 250,000 come in a month, something like that. Unaccounted for. Most of them go unaccounted for. Others are just shipped, thrown right into these facilities where they are used to be, whatever their captor, their slave master wants them to be.
Revelation. These children are a captive victim population with no access to law enforcement or knowledge of their rights. They are extorted, abused, neglected. And that is why I blew the whistle in 2021. I witnessed firsthand the horrors of child trafficking and exploitation. My life will never be the same after what I saw. But I have hope because I'm counting on you. It's my hope that you'll take action to end this crisis, to safeguard the lives of these vulnerable children. People have asked me, what can be done? What would you suggest? Well, first, I think HHS's number one priority is oversight. They must commit to oversight, transparency, and accountability. If I could wave a magic wand, this, I believe, could be quickly solved by experts in the IG community. There is a Pandemic Analytics Center of Excellence, or the PACE, as we call it. I believe if data analysts at the PACE could look at the data, children could be rescued, criminals could be prosecuted.
All right,
if the PACE had
now she's going on about mostly. I'm gonna cut this right here. She's mostly going on about how she thinks we can fix it. How she thinks America can fix it, but America doesn't want to fix it.
Right.
America doesn't want to go about it the right way. If they wanted to do it that way, they wouldn't have destabilized those countries. They wouldn't have then blocked these people at the border and made it hard for them to enter the U.S. when Afghanistanis and Ukrainians easily entered the U.S. with visas, with food stamps, with free housing, but blocked them. It would have made it easier for them to enter if they wanted to avoid these things. So I'm not gonna let that white woman, Caucasian woman, talk about how the U.S. can fix its mistake, because it's not a mistake. This is on purpose. I'm gonna close this class out. Give me Isaiah 9 and 16 and 17.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 16. And it reads, "For the leaders of this people caused them to err."
Hold up. Read that again.
For the leaders of this people caused them to err.
Your Catholic leaders, they cause you to what? Read that from the top.
For the leaders of this people caused them to err.
The Bible, God said that your leaders cause these people to err. All your blackity black, whoever you hold in high regard, your Catholic priests, your nuns, your preachers, your politicians, your gang leader. These are the leaders that you've elected to be over you. They cause you to err, which means make an error, make a mistake, mess up. That's what they cause you to do. That's what these leaders that you've appointed unto yourself cause you to do. Keep reading.
And they that are led of them are destroyed.
Those that are led by these leaders are destroyed. And you can see that. That's what Christ talked about when he said, you'll know them by their fruit. That was Christ, right? You'll know them by their fruit. Yeah, that's... You know who's leading you by where they're leading you, man. You're getting told to go here, go there. Send your children here. Do this. Go shoot them. Go move these drugs. No, it's okay if you let your child do things that are not according to God, but according to their wicked lusts, against the Bible. That's the best way to tell if somebody's a good leader or not. Are they with God or are they against him? Because God don't lose.
That's right.
God does not lose, brother. Your wicked Christian pastor is against God.
Right.
Your fake Israelite leader is against God. Your Catholic priest is against God. Give me another one. Your politician is against God. The Pope is against God.
That holy water in the bathtub.
in holy water in the bathtub, white suit wearing, right. No hair having, dementia full of Pope of yours is against God. Go ahead.
The choir rehearsal.
The choir. Your choir is against God. All those songs that they sing, oh hallelujah, hallelujah, but they backstage committing adulteries and alternative lifestyle actions one toward another. They're against God.
Right.
They're against God. You're gonna have to pick a better leader. Your leaders cause you to err. They cause you to make mistakes. You thought that your leader was Joe Biden in 2020, 2021, 2022. You saw, if you're south of the border, you sent your children, you sent yourself, if you could, to that border to try to make a better life for yourself. What happened to that? Your children are now slaves. Your children are slaves. You're a slave. Or you're sent back to that same place you came from without your child. Your child is lost. 85,000 migrant children missing, quote unquote. Those that they know where they're at, they're in the hands of fake name having sponsors who put them into all sorts of oppressive, disgusting situations. You know what I'm saying? Is there any more on that?
That's the end of verse 16, sir.
Go to 17.
Verse 17. Therefore, the Lord shall have no joy in their young men, neither shall have mercy on them, fatherless and widows.
Let me tell you something, man. The Lord is not some all loving, all forgiving, nice guy. Because of the wickedness that you've chosen to follow these fake guys. The ISUPK under commanding General Yohana has been here since 1969. You've known right from wrong for the most part before that. Before that, we could go into history and prove it. And yet and still, you choose to serve liars. You choose to serve wicked and evil men. God ain't gonna have mercy on you.
Right.
God ain't gonna have mercy on you. But you're not ignorant anymore. You're a man now. You're a woman now. You need to think critically before you do something. You're gonna throw your children to the beast who destroyed your country. America burned down Panama. Imagine me being Panamanian telling my child to go there. Why the hell would I send my loved ones to the enemy territory? America goddamn destabilized Venezuela's economy so much so that, you know, food is worth more than their dollars. Eggs are worth more than 3 eggs are worth more than $100. People eating rotten meat. Now I'm Venezuelan. I'm trying to get to America. I'd rather take control. I'd rather fight tooth and nail and die trying to save my country, trying to save my neighborhood, trying to save my people than I would trying to run and beg to serve my oppressor. That's what I would do. And I would pray you brothers out there would do the same. Otherwise, your children will be slaves like your forefathers were. And with that, I'm going to close out the class. Yeah, let's get a Lord a hand. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Let's send up a prayer. We got the prayers. Let me get a prayer. Yeah, Baba Kashad.
You just kidding us first?
Yeah. Go ahead and do the security announcement.
It's the ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for new brother and sister. When new brother and sister comes to school, they're off limits for 6 months. It'll be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. Upcoming holy convocation will be the Feast of First Fruits. Starts after the Sabbath, unleavened bread, sundown. Right. April 9th, 2023. Count 50 days. Celebrate the 50th day. All right. The 50th day will fall on May 29th. This will be on a Monday, 2023. Start before sundown. You can find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 10 through 22. If anyone wants to come to troop in the school, start wearing all black boots, all black shirt, all black pants, all black headband, all black scarf. That we'll get the Lord's Prayer in the Israel, Migrant. We'll start, turn to face the east. We'll do the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Let me get that. You want? Oh, you got it? Oh, yeah.
Abanawa, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Balakutka, Taba'a, Ratizaika, Haya, Aisha, Baratiza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemaya, Nathan Lanawa, Lakom, Call, Yawam, Wasalak Lanawa, Kawaf Nawa. Kasalak Nawa, Kawath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabiaya Nawa, Manasa 1, Abal, Hawashaya Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahata Para, La'ai Walamyum, Aman, in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. All right. Sorry. All right, we're gonna give We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah, Yachim Matah. Sorry, turn and face the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim Barak, Yahweh Shamar Latah Hashem Yahweh Shah, Yachim Matah. Class dismissed.